Hi guys, this is Holly Huber, and I'm sitting here in San Diego, California on The Latest With, and I'm here with David Oliver, who is another stem cell patient that I met through my process of having stem cell treatment outside the country. How are you doing, David?
Good. How are you today, Holly?
Pretty good. I'm excited. We're having great weather here in San Diego. It's warm, and I think you do too. Where are you right now?
We're in San Clemente, California.
San
Just
Clemente.
not too far north of you.
San Clemente. I'm telling you, anybody on the West Coast is, can see ocean from any place in their town is enjoying this beautiful weather today. Um, you had stem cell treatment like I did, and we didn't know each other until after we reconnected. After I had stem cell treatment 2 years ago, and you had stem cell treatment when?
In 2008, June.
June 2008.
I'm sorry, 2009, actually.
I forget, and I talk to people, and I'm just like, when did I have that
It
treatment too?
does.
Yeah, it goes by
Yeah.
fast, doesn't it? And you have multiple sclerosis, if I'm correct. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and why did you
RRMS.
are relapsing remitting? And why did you look at stem cell? I mean, what made you, from the point of you were diagnosed and you were living life and running your business and doing all of your other activities and you have children? What made you lead to do to something else different?
Holly, actually, when I was diagnosed in 2006, I started off with the right optic neuritis, and after I got some steroid treatment for that, everything was pretty much okay. But after that, I had severe fatigue that set in. So for the next 3 years, I was on the couch every day. And to be honest, I heard about your story, and I figured there was nothing that was going to stop me from checking this out, because for the past 3 years, I mean, I've been able to basically get nothing accomplished on a daily basis. Everything felt heavy, my arms, my legs, everything. Um, it just ruined my life. It changed my life with my family. They would go do things I couldn't do because I was too tired. So when I heard about your story, I looked into it. I did my homework on it, um, and not just taking your word for it, but I did my research, and it was plenty for me to go ahead and book my trip down to Costa Rica.
Did you get? I got a lot of a lot of hesitation from people. Did you get the same thing? I mean, I got people telling me I was stupid, I was gonna waste my money, it wasn't gonna work. Did you get the same thing? Because I was like scared after I heard all that kind of stuff. I was like, don't do it. Did you get kind of the same stuff going on before you decided to actually, decide this is what I'm gonna do, the next thing I'm gonna do?
Actually, no, I didn't. I think when I found out about it, I think my decision to have this treatment done was so fast, and I booked my trip very fast, that I didn't really have a lot of time to explain to other people rather than family what I was going to do. And my family was, fully behind me and encouraged me to do it. And I'm so glad I did. It's changed my life, and I'm 100%.
Did you ask? Did you talk to your neurologist before doing it? I only asked because everybody asked me. Should I tell my? I'll just tell you what I did. But did you talk to your doctors? Because I get that all the time. Oh, I'm so scared, and they tell me don't do it. Did you have the same problem or anything?
I did. I went in and I spoke to my neurologist, and I mentioned about what I was looking at doing, and her only response to it was, she said, "Don't believe everything you see or read on the internet." And I was shocked. I said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "This isn't something I just saw or read on the internet." I said, "This is a person that, I can actually see the results." And at the time, I mean, you were way worse than I was, symptom wise, and for the results that you had, I mean, it was no way I wasn't going to go do this.
Yeah.
So she didn't know what I saw, but I just didn't read or see this on the internet.
That's pretty good because I was at chat rooms and I would get that. And actually, when I came home and I posted someplace, I was getting the chat room where I would get a lot of that. And that was 9 months prior to. And then when I came back, all of a sudden, people were wanting more discussion. I had posted a posting on one of these. Oh, well, it's msworld.org. I had posted something there, and all of a sudden, it expanded like wildfire when I was actually in Costa Rica. And we're down there, and I was like, what am I supposed to do here? I can't do anything. I can't travel. I'm not here for vacation. I can't really take a vacation. So I
Right.
decided to post after that. All those people were like, oh, you're so stupid. And a lot of people said, they got the same type of feedback, but now they're getting it with their doctors more. So, do we tell our doctors? I'm like, I don't think it's a bad thing, but you could get hesitation. So I didn't know if you had gone through the same kind of experience where all of a sudden your doctor's like, no, 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 no.
after I met with her, I kind of, she actually, uh, she wasn't very receptive to it. So I didn't go out of there thinking much at that time, but I just went ahead and had the treatment done. I hadn't seen her for 6 months after I got back. And when I came back, she wasn't very receptive to it at the time. I told her I'm doing fantastic. She actually started to discount my symptoms, saying, "Well, you weren't very bad in the first place." Well, she's the second doctor that backed up my diagnosis of MS. Because when I went to her as a new patient, she wanted to confirm my diagnosis, and she did. But so now she starts discounting everything. So I had a follow-up MRI just this past September, or actually beginning of August, and I got to see her towards the end of August to go over the MRI results. Um, she actually she was kind of shut down a little bit. She wouldn't say much, and we had to pry a lot of answers out of her because I have not taken any medication since my treatment, which it's I guess a year and a half now almost.
Oh, wow.
Or so. But anyhow, we said what would happen with a typical MS patient if they did not take any medications? Would they progress? She
Yeah.
said yes, a typical MS patient would progress.
Yeah.
And I haven't. And she sees that. And not only that, she looked at my MRI and she showed me a spot on my MRI and she said, this spot here is actually improving.
Wow.
And so, I mean, the results are there.
Yeah.
It's right there in the MRI. She can't deny it.
I
So now
just
she's getting a little more interested.
I just got somebody to ask me the other day the same question. It's her husband, I think, was asking, they're on Tysabri, was the last drug I was on, and they're like, do I go off my medications? What did you do? And I'm like, yeah, I didn't intend to go off them, but all of a sudden when I did, I came back to the United States, and all of a sudden I was like, wow, I feel pretty good today. And then 30 days later, I feel pretty good today. I feel pretty good. And then finally my authorization for the medication ran out, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is kind of a great feeling. And once all the medications were out of my system, I felt so good. And, going
Right.
back to the supplements we were talking about earlier, the supplements, my body started taking the supplements. What supplements? You're taking like natural type things right now too, right?
I take a luteolin, which is a natural supplement. It's for an inflammatory, but the product is called Lutamax, Lutimax, and it has the most amount of lutein or luteolin in the product that I have found out of any on the market. It turns out that it's right here where I live, and so I got to meet the owner of the company. As you put up there, that's the product right there. It's done fantastic for me. And so anything that's anti-inflammatory, I mean, that's obviously going to help with an MS patient. And so I didn't hesitate to try it. I mean, my neurologist actually recommended that I take lutein or luteolin. And so just when I did my research, this is what I found, and it actually is in my backyard here, just about.
I know, that's when I was looking for the different treatments and different things, and I think that taking the supplements like luteolin, you were approached and somebody told you that it works amazingly great. It was an athlete, if I'm not mistaken. You told me on the phone, yes, an athlete that told you to take this stuff.
No, not that. I don't know about that.
So how did you? Who
The,
told you? Who told you about the Lutamax?
That was luteolin was from my neurologist. She recommended that I take that, and so I just did my own research. But they're actually they have some other stuff called race fuel or race day fuel, which has luteolin and quercetin in it. It's really good for energy. It would probably be very good for MS patients. I mean, I take it myself, and the stuff's amazing. But my neurologist was the one that recommended it.
So now that you're feeling pretty good after having the stem cell treatment, which for a lot of people is stepping definitely outside the boundaries and outside the box. And I don't know if you follow a lot of stuff that's going on in the MS world, and I know I get asked a lot about CCSBI, or I think there's a new drug, the oral medication that they're taking now for MS.
Correct.
Do you get people that like trying to push you in that direction, like you've got to take something, you can't be on nothing at all?
I actually am not pushed towards doing anything. I think most of the people I talk to, they know I'm pretty strong-willed. I'm going to do kind of what I want, what my research tells me to do, um, and that's what I do.
You just kind of stick to what you know works for yourself, and you don't get influenced by other stuff. I know we've talked about healthy eating. Did you change your eating habits a lot and go that direction when you actually got diagnosed? And all of a sudden you're sitting at your house and you're like, what am I supposed to do now? I don't even want the bag of chips. I'm sitting here watching TV. I couldn't even get to the TV and change the TV, so that's how bad I was. But I was like, this is awful. Oh my
Um,
gosh.
I started it first. I really did, and started watching. I already eat pretty healthy as it is, but I like my hamburgers. I like my fried foods and stuff like that. But I do it all. I do it all within reason, and not over the top. So I stay in pretty good shape. In 2006, when I was diagnosed, I was actually training for LA City Fire Department. I was in the best shape of my life, and this thing knocked me down to my knees. I mean, it just stopped me so fast. The fatigue came on so fast, and I speak to some classes at our local high school, our biology class, and I actually have a picture in a PowerPoint presentation that I show them, and it's not a great picture. It's my wife took it. It's me laying on the couch, and I tell them, this isn't the most uh, it's not the best photo of me that I would show anybody, but this was me every day on the couch with no energy.
Oh wow.
And since my treatment, Holly, I mean, like I said, I'm back to 100%. I take these supplements because if these things can help me, I do want the benefits of that. I don't want pharmaceutical drugs. For me, the less the better. But I'm back to 100%. I mean, I went for a 3 mile run this morning,
Oh
and I
my.
just wanted to keep going. I had more
Wow.
time, but I actually outran my 17-year-old daughter. She couldn't keep up, so I felt great. It's like, wow, my 17-year-old can't even keep up with me. So, I'm doing great.
That's pretty good stuff. You're like, look at me now. I'm like, I've proven everybody
Yeah.
wrong, and I'm back on track, and life is good, and I'm going in the right direction. I know I would get people to say, it's so hard to change your. Somebody asked me one time, do you think it's the diet? Because I did change my diet quite a bit because we were grasping for everything, not out of desperation, but because, all of a sudden when I couldn't feel anything from my waist down and, my knees weren't paying attention to me, my legs weren't paying attention, you're like, okay, now what? So we were kind of going in every direction, waiting for the neurologists to come back and say, yes, we have an appointment for you, or yes, we can do another MRI, or yes, we can go over the medications. And I followed something called the Swank diet briefly. I ran into that. Well, I can talk about that later on. You can look at my website and check out more about my different diets that I've done and stuff. And it's a MS diet, and basically it's eating anything that you could grow in a garden or raise on a farm 200 years ago. It's very simple, but it's hard to do. And I only do it about 60%. I was talking to somebody else that I've made friends with through the stem cell journey, somebody who's a patient of the clinic that we had gone to, just out of correspondence. She picks up the phone from Michigan and calls me every once in a while. And we joke about, we make excuses, and she says, you know what, I didn't take my supplements today just because I have every excuse in the book. And they're not good ones, but I'll walk through the kitchen and you know what, the cabinet was too far away. Or, you know what, I can't take them too late because I'm not going to feel good. And I laugh, and now she texts me every once in a while. She goes, I got to go. I can't talk today. I can't chit chat because I did take my supplements, but I got to think about it first. So we talk about that, or chocolate, or all sorts of different things that
Yeah.
affect different people. So it's kind of interesting and stuff. I found a lot of stuff online, which is great, and a lot of people post stuff. I found it through Twitter and Facebook and my website and other people's websites, and it's kind of interesting to see the journey that everybody takes, and not just in MS, but in any disease that you have. So,
Right.
are you online quite a bit?
I am. I cruise the web. I mean, I'm looking at different things on MS, and I'm actually finding out about other things that people have. I mean, because honestly, before I got diagnosed with MS, I've heard of it, but I never knew what it was. So I try and catch up on other things that are going around that people deal with.
Yeah, when I was
But
first
as far
diagnosed, oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, as far as the diet, I mean, diet is crucial, no doubt about it. The better you eat, the better you're going to feel. And it's easier for your body if you're eating the good things rather than if you're sitting there eating hamburgers and all the fried foods. That's hard stuff for your body to process. So, you stay healthier. It's easier for your body to take care of that. And yeah, it's definitely going to benefit you in the end.
Well, the one thing that I did do is I cut beef because on the swank diet, one of the things they don't, if you can stay off of beef, just because there's something in the beef that we have now, if I could have beef that was 200 years ago, it'd be different. Don't have beef. And so in my head, I think that I really want a cheeseburger, or I think I really want, filet, a piece of steak or whatever. And I will. I don't deprive myself. I'll go have it. And all of a sudden it's like, that wasn't nearly as good as I thought. Same thing with, I have a glass of wine and the stem cell, they don't tell you not to, they have, stipulations of maybe what you could maybe try to do and try not to do. And
Right.
I'm not a crazy alcoholic drinker all the time, but all of a sudden I thought, wow, I really wanted a glass of wine. Now, as the 2 years, I'm 2 years out and I'm just like, well, it's not as good as I remembered it used to be. And I really think I have a craving, but I don't anymore. So I can see that my environment, my palate has changed. I like to swim. I love living in San Diego. I love living by the beach.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like being outside. So it's kind of interesting. If anybody wants to find out more, go to, for me, it's ilovemynewstemcells.com. That's how I talk to a lot of people. You can find this. We're trying to, David, it's so great that you joined us today because I'm trying to, not me, but the people I'm working with, are trying to make a platform where we can have real discussion. People are in the chat room right now. They're telling me that they've tried it on Android and different, the iPhone and the way they're listening to it. When I don't know if you had someone, well, you didn't, is what I'm listening to today. I had a lot of backlash from the online community in the chat rooms because I didn't know where to go. I was diagnosed and all of a sudden I go in a chat room and said, does anybody out here, have they been told to take 2 medications at the same time? And I'm like, wow. And I couldn't find anybody. So through the process I asked and all of a sudden I got no, but you should really look into that. We're not quite sure, and our neurologist would never do that. So there was no place you could post on these message boards, but then you get the people that were against you, and then at the time, I don't want to say I'm depressed, but I was in shock a little bit. I mean, I got this diagnosis, and all of a sudden I can't leave my house. I'm stuck to my computer because that's all I could do.
Right.
And so we've kind of created this at the latest with so that we can have real conversation. And I think there'll be more. As time goes on, I think we, get people not just calling you or, at your church group or, your grocery store asking you questions, or me when I'm at my swimming pool, I go to a local swimming pool where we do aqua aerobics kind of stuff, and the MS Society sponsors it. I think that people want more conversation, real conversation, and that's what this is about. So I'm excited to talk to you. I know that we were asked to be a guest at the clinic to speak about our experiences,
Yes.
and that's going to be, and I think they've moved it to March, but I'm really excited about that. And I get to speak with you, and I know when I first talked to you, you hadn't really been able to talk on a platform yet, so I'm excited that now you can join
great.
the masses. I know people are looking forward to coming to that and stuff. I have a lot of people that I've never talked to personally, but they're excited to see and meet us, so.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. I've spoken at some MS support groups, and we've had people that from the group that have gone for treatment and are doing just fantastic. I have others that do have concerns. One is because of the cost of it. Yes, it is expensive, but I have some people that are looking for guarantees, and it's just not going to happen. There are no guarantees, and I can't tell them enough to where they can understand that. But hey, for me, it was do or die. It's like I'm not going to let this thing run my life, and boy, did it work.
I know, and that's the exciting part where, you have relapse and remitting multiple sclerosis, so you hadn't got to the point of where, which, you were telling me that your neurologist was saying, well, maybe your symptoms weren't as bad as what you were saying, but how can you say that? They're not living in your shoes, but all of a sudden now you have this treatment and it's giving you a second opportunity to attack everything again and to live life,
Right.
which is great. And, again, I don't think I think you're probably one of the few that said, I want to do this now before it gets to the point of where I can't see or I can't walk, which is great. But it's there, and the more people I talk to with relapsing remitting that have had stem cell treatment done, and not just to where you and I went, but at different clinics across the world, they're saying the same thing. As a relapsing remitting patient, they are feeling great. And I mean, I think it's good. I think it's a science that we're going to see eventually here in the United States, that it's going to be commonplace. I really do. I think it's going to be a long time, but I think, we'll see it in our lifetime.
Right.
So it's exciting.
I talk to a lot of people about it, and they say, well, I'm going to look into it. And then they'll say, yeah, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to wait, maybe 6 months or a year or something like that. I say, absolutely not. You don't wait. you go get it now, because the more you wait, the more this, MS will take over your life.
Yeah.
So get it done now.
Yeah, so it's exciting, and I'm sure we'll talk about a ton more stuff next time, and I look
Yeah.
forward to it. I love our chats that we have. When I'm sitting, it's usually in my car, my cell phone, because I do a lot of my stuff, my video updates and stuff, and that's kind of how I got into the speaking about it, because people wanted to know more, and they would call me, email me, and I'm just like, wow, how do I do this? We started doing the YouTube videos just because we were 30 days in a different country, and that's how it kind of started, and it's great. So, but check back at thelatestwith.com, or go to Twitter, @thelatestwith, or Facebook. David, you're on Facebook, and I don't
Yes.
know. Yeah, David Oliver. David, what is it?
No, my address is David dot San Clemente, and so it's Facebook/David.San Clemente.
Oh, got it. And mine is facebook.com/Holly Huber. I can't even remember where I'm at right now. Holly Huber on Facebook, or my website. I left my new stem cells, and I'll link back to everybody else that we talked to on the stream, and we'll just keep moving forward, and we'll figure out what we're gonna do next, and stay healthy. So it was a pleasure, David. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so